The Bundys are back. You remember these guys? They're the militia people out west. They were fighting against the Bureau of Land Management. And it's a long story I can't entirely get into, but suffice it to say, they describe him as an Idaho militia leader. They say he is vowing to use physical force to hold a service for 1,000 people on Easter Sunday as states' residents rebel over stay-at-home orders despite a huge surge in cases. Quote, "The virus is killing our Constitution." Now, I am conflicted, I must say. I absolutely love the Constitution of the United States because I know many people who have grown up without a constitution in foreign countries, and they've told me many stories. I know a story about a guy who almost went to jail for telling a joke. Oh, wait, I know a guy who did get arrested for telling a joke, Count Dankula. Wow, how crazy. Yeah, well, we got a constitution, so bring it. We got a Supreme Court, you can't do it. Right now, we got a serious challenge, pandemic. Should we shut down everything, lock everyone in their homes, and take away their constitutional rights to worship how they see fit and to gather because we're worried about the spread of disease? The answer, no. But should people be responsible and avoid large crowds because it's getting bad? Yes. Therein lies the great philosophical conundrum that we're all facing right now. And we can see where Ammon Bundy has decided to lay, which hill he's decided to stand on. To a certain degree, I can respect the defense of the Constitution. And I absolutely believe we must defend our constitutional rights. It is not okay that across the country, people are being arrested for going outside. There was a guy who was at the park playing t-ball with his daughter and his wife gets cuffed and arrested. They had to apologize to him. There's a guy paddleboarding by himself in the ocean. They arrested him. No. You've crossed the line. And so now I think, yes, the Constitution is paramount. But I gotta ask everybody, as much as all this stuff is annoying, we gotta be responsible. And this is something someone brought up on the Timcast IRL podcast. Make sure to check it out tonight at 8 p.m., by the way, youtube.com/TimcastIRL. And they said, rights come with responsibility. And that's true. We are not being told to stay inside because an arbitrary government is just mad at us and thinks we're bad people. We're being told to stay inside. And for the most part, we were kind of given an option and people just didn't care. And it forced the hand of many in government. We're being told to stay inside because there's a pandemic hurting people. And to protect our community, which we have a responsibility to, we must abide by this. But there are serious challenges now that we're seeing overzealous law enforcement push the boundary. We're going to see boundary pushing back. Let's read the story. A militia leader is rallying people to attend a mass gathering in Idaho on Easter Sunday in defiance of the governor's orders to stay home amid the coronavirus pandemic. According to a report in the New York Times Tuesday, Ammon Bundy says he and his allies are willing to physically defend the event, which is scheduled to take place in the city of Boise and could attract upwards of 1,000 people. Quote, "I will be there, and I will bring as many people as I can," Bundy reportedly told a group of supporters on March 26th, the day after the state's stay-at-home order was issued. "We will form a legal defense for you. We will perform an active political defense for you. And we will also, if necessary, provide a physical defense for you so that you can continue in your rights. Idaho has recently experienced an explosion of COVID cases and now has more confirmed cases per capita than California. 13 people across the state have died from the highly contagious virus." Perhaps the answer for the government is not to stomp the boot on people, but to work with them in a way to minimize the risk of transmission while protecting their right to worship and gather. I think people, the Bundys especially, would be willing to compromise on some sanitary health measures like social distancing. You can come out, just, don't have any areas where everyone's, standing side by side or anything like that. Would you be willing to compromise? I think they're reasonable people. They probably would. But you know what? Maybe they wouldn't. And therein lies the big challenge. The Constitution doesn't say that you get these rights when the weather is nice. They say you always have these rights. And the joke I made the other day was, Patrick Henry at the second convention in Virginia did not say, "Give me liberty or give me death," unless, of course, there's a pandemic. He said, "Give me liberty or give me death." That means if there is a pandemic and it will kill you, he would rather have the liberty. Now, there's responsibilities here because you could kill other people. And that's where the line is drawn between your rights and your responsibilities. You have a right to freely assemble and to worship. You don't have a right to hurt other people. Now, this is an interesting problem because people aren't intentionally hurting other people. But if you know you can transmit this and you know it might hurt someone else, then I think you do have a responsibility to at least chill out for a little while. It's tough. Knowing where the line is very, very tough. My bigger concern is, will the government be honest with us when this finally ends? I think they will. As we're already seeing, we're nearing the peak in New York. They're straight up telling us, hey, it's going to be over soon, sooner than we thought. The numbers were too high. Yeah, they're straight up saying it. Everyone thought that it was going to be way worse. So that says to me that they're acting in good faith. So I'm not super worried about it. I'm not one to typically trust the government and everything they say, but, it's people working in a system. They say, the alarming statistics prompted Governor Brad Little to issue the stay-at-home order for 21 days, stating that he was following the guidance of public health experts. However, Bundy, who is best known for his armed takeover of an Oregon wildlife refuge in 2016, believes that such an order violates the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens. He says, if it gets bad enough and our rights are infringed upon enough, we can physically stand in defense in whatever way we need to do, Bundy is quoted as telling followers at a recent meeting. The militia leader also stated that he has no concerns about contracting COVID-19, claiming it's not dissimilar to the flu. That's a mistake, a serious mistake. Meanwhile, other public figures in Idaho have also expressed skepticism about the virus and disdain for the new stay-at-home orders, which they believe is drastic government overreach. It is, yes. So I guess the problem is when you see the paddleboarding guy, that's the improper use of what these provisions are supposed to be. You know what you do when the guy won't get off the paddleboard? I mean, first of all, who cares? He's in the ocean. We were told by everyone we could go. They said you're not being forced to stay home. Just don't go into big groups. I was told in New Jersey, the governor said, go out, go exercise, go for a walk your dog, just avoid large gatherings. Now we're seeing individuals get arrested because of overzealous law enforcement. The appropriate response would be to walk up to the guy in the park and say, just you and your family? If more people come, please keep a social distance. We're getting some calls. Stay safe out there. Instead, they argue with the guy, cuff the guy, take his ID. What are they doing? What are you doing? When you do that, you get this. It's funny because someone on Twitter said, do you want a boogaloo? This is how you get a boogaloo, in reference to the guy on the paddleboard. Well, congratulations. Now you got armed militia saying, we're doing Easter worship. Y'all can't stop us. Bonner County Sheriff Darrell Wheeler recently posted an open letter urging people to continue with business as normal if they feel healthy enough. Quote, I do not believe that suspending the Constitution was wise because COVID-19 is nothing like the plague, he wrote. It is really bad, though. You don't want to get it. Republican Rep. Heather Scott has allegedly encouraged locals to push back against the government order. Rep. Scott reportedly sent a newsletter to constituents which called COVID-19 the virus that tried to kill the Constitution, before claiming that they had a God-given constitutionally protected right to peacefully assemble. The vocal defiance has alarmed many healthcare workers in the largely rural state who say that most hospitals are unprepared for the rise in cases. The virus did try to kill the Constitution, sort of. It was actually people who were panicked about this, mostly in bigger cities with a higher population density, who decided to suspend the rights of people because of the cities. But the truth is, if everybody gets sick and dies, there won't be a constitution to uphold anyway. It's an idea that we hold dear. Of course, it's in its physical form, but it's our community, it's the American citizenry, and other people around the world who happen to agree with the Constitution, who believe in it, who give it its power. That's why you can't have these police do certain things. They try, sometimes they do it. You can sue them and you typically win. Right now, I think we should recognize the severity of this illness, the people who are losing their lives. I know it's not the Black Plague or whatever, but people will get hurt by this. And if we break confidence in our system, if our culture loses its support, then there won't be a constitution either. It's not the fault of the virus. The virus is a problem. The virus causes problems. It's human beings who would try and strip your rights away for arbitrary reasons. They say, here we go. Quote, if we stop what we are doing, it could deteriorate so quickly and our resources could be overwhelmed so quickly, one doctor told the Times. As of Monday, Idaho had 1,170 cases of COVID. There are nearly 400,000 confirmed cases across the U.S., with a majority of states locked down in a bid to slow the virus. So that's the gist of the story. We'll see how things play out. Easter Sunday is very important. I understand why people would want to come out and worship on Easter Sunday, especially when the Constitution it literally states that the government shall not infringe upon the rights to worship and to peaceably assemble, which is both of these things right now. You got to stop giving up your rights, man, because this is what we're seeing here in my home state of New Jersey. Well, it's home. I live here now, and maybe I won't live here for much longer because I'm not happy with what they're doing. Police enforcing stay-at-home orders in South Jersey, very close to where I live. They arrested some people apparently for walking down the street, and the cops megaphoned, you should social distance and then go home. And they just flicked them off and said, I don't got to do nothing. So the cops were arrested. Why? It's just people walking down the street. Let them walk down the street. Look, if there's hundreds of people at the beach, you just tell them to leave and you close the beach. if there's one person there, if there's 3 people there, you carry on your merry way and ask them to stay safe. And if the numbers increase, you intervene. But we can't let we can't let our rights be just get ripped away. So I'll tell you what, I'm fairly confident this channel at some point is going to get purged from YouTube because they don't like that I'm saying this. They'd prefer I just lie to you. You watch the media, you know what they say, you know what they like. They like it when the media lies to trick the people into believing stupid things. They don't like when people tell the truth. And YouTube accidentally gave people the power to tell the truth. It also gave people the power to say a bunch of really stupid things about like flat earth and lizard people, but that's not me. I'm just telling you, you have a constitutional right to, assemble and to worship, and that you should always protect that right. But you got to recognize your responsibilities too. That's a very, very fair point. Right now is not the time. But if in the coming months they refuse to let up, well, then we got a constitutional problem. We must defend our rights. I don't know if the Bundys are going about it in the right way, but I'll tell you what, you give an inch, I'll take a mile. I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. on this channel. Adios.